Imagine standing your ground against an entire world that actively despises you. Imagine holding that position, completely alone, for 9.5 centuries. Long before the Great Flood, the earth was caught in a deep spiritual decay. Society had completely abandoned Tawhid, the belief in the oneness of God. In its place, people worshipped idols, and the scholars and leaders of the time operated as brutal oppressors. Justice had effectively ceased to exist. This chart outlines the highest rank of messengers in creation, the Ulu Azm prophets. The man chosen to confront this darkness was born Abdul Ghaffar, the servant of the Most Forgiving, and he stands as the very first of these 5 foundational pillars. But history remembers him as Nuh. The name derives from the Arabic word nawah, meaning to weep and lament. It was a title given to him because he cried constantly, driven by an overwhelming fear and love for his creator. His divine assignment was entirely contradictory to the reality on the ground. He was instructed to save the remnants of the human conscience in a society that violently refused to be saved. For 950 years, Noah executed his mission without pause. He preached day and night, openly in the public squares and secretly in private conversations. The response was physical and immediate. People wrapped garments over their faces, shoved fingers into their ears, and wealthy leaders instructed commoners to openly mock him, dismissing his followers as weak and lowly. According to historical narrations in Bihar al-Anwar, the abuse went far beyond mockery. The people would beat Noah until he fell unconscious. Yet, upon waking, he prayed for God to forgive his attackers, reasoning they simply didn't know better. After nearly a millennium of patience, the final revelation arrived. No one else from his people would ever believe. With that, Allah issued a new command. Noah was instructed to stop preaching and begin building a massive wooden ark right there on dry land. Constructing a ship of that size, miles away from any ocean, drew even heavier ridicule. As crowds passed by, laughing at the sheer absurdity of a landlocked boat, Noah simply replied that soon he would be the one mocking them. Following precise divine instructions, he loaded the ark with 2 of every creature, provisions for a long journey, and the small handful of believers. Crucially, narrations state he also brought aboard the spiritual will and trust of Hazrat Adam, ensuring the original divine covenant survived the coming storm. Enduring 950 years of relentless abuse forged an unbreakable resolve. He had absorbed nearly 1,000 years of hatred to become strong enough to single-handedly carry the seed of humanity through extinction. But the most severe pain Noah carried came from inside his own home. His wife remained a disbeliever, secretly acting as an informant, reporting new believers to tribal leaders so they could be persecuted. When divine justice finally arrived, water poured from the sky and gushed forcefully from the earth itself, starting from a baker's oven. The ground cracked open, and massive waves swelled into towering mountains, violently purging all the corruption from the earth. From the deck of the ark, Noah saw his son, Kanaan, standing apart in the rising water. As a father watching his child face certain death, Noah called out, begging him to board. Kanaan refused, claiming he would climb a mountain to protect himself from the flood. Noah warned him that nothing protects against the command of Allah that day.
True victory is not in numbers, but in steadfastness.
Accept his mercy. And then a massive, towering wave violently crashed between them, severing their bond permanently in the rising flood. Devastated, Noah pleaded with Allah, saying that his son was a part of his family and God's promise was true. Allah's response was absolute. "O Nuh, he is not of your family. Indeed, he is of unrighteous conduct. In the commentary of Tafsir al-Mizan, this exchange establishes a permanent theological rule. Family and lineage are never merely about blood. They are dictated entirely by faith, character, and righteous deeds. With not a single unjust person left alive, the earth found peace. The waters eventually receded, and the ark came to rest securely on Mount Judi. Nuh stepped out onto dry earth with his small band of survivors. In that moment, he became the second father of humanity, leading a reborn civilization. This animated lineage tree illustrates the true legacy of the flood. Bypassing the faded branch of Kanaan, the divine trust and imamate transferred to his righteous son, Sam. This secured the chain of divine guidance that would eventually reach Ibrahim, Musa, Isa, and Muhammad. This history acts as a mirror for our own lives. It forces us to ask, how long are we willing to stand for the truth when the whole world stands against it? How deep is our patience when we are mocked, rejected, and completely alone? Noah called his people for nearly 1,000 years and was answered by only a few. Spiritual victory is not measured by crowd size or immediate results. It is measured entirely by steadfastness to the truth, holding firm no matter how long the storm lasts.